This plastic surgeon is making his patients look absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, I don't understand how scared I am of this. Like, it's not even a joke.
Oh, what a good-looking older gentleman. What happened to his face?
How is this guy making people's eyes bigger? It just makes no sense.
What happened to her earlobes?
Dr. Kim, you need to go to jail.
A friend in need is a friend indeed. A friend with the answers, though, is a solid breed. A friend who misdirects might just be a fool, and if they lie, send their ass to the cesspool. Hi, hello, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Let's pull out a vintage meme. What's that? I can't believe I just did that. Welcome to the cesspool, the place where everything and everyone is sus, maybe even us. Come on in, the water's fine. So welcome, my name is Swoop, and to all of you who know me from my main channel where we do feature-length deep dive documentaries, welcome to shorter videos and shallower waters. Over here, this is where we dip our pinky toes in the shallow end and talk shit. Okay, that's what we do here. We also dip into some creepy, dark, mind-bending stories. So if you're ready to get weird, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and go ahead and flirt and just tickle the like button as we plunge into the cesspool. Ooh, okay, just give me a moment because y'all are wild for this. Do you see this? We got the 100,000 subscriber plaque here. I think we're actually at 150 now, but like y'all did this, okay? I'm so honored and excited, and I just wanted to share this with all of you. This was so unexpected. I did not know when starting this new channel that so many of you would come join me in the strange, bizarre, weird festivities over here. So I'm so thankful and grateful to every one of you for being here. Okay, tell me, what's your TikTok For You page look like today? For me, it is a bunch of people complaining about like Sephora kids, a bunch of cute kitties doing cute little kitty things, and also some of the most disturbing videos I have seen in a very long time. And on and on and on and on and on it goes. Face after face of the most dramatic transformations with hundreds of thousands of opinions flooding the comments on TikTok, calling this kind of like equal parts stunning and terrifying. Now, most of the faces in these videos belong to middle-aged people, specifically women, and their transformations unfortunately have left them at the mercy of a very vicious commentariat. You know, things like, she looks AI, because that's the new dig that people do now, or things like, that's not the same person, he must be stopped, this is Uncanny Valley, all referring to the social idea that a, quote, computer-generated figure or humanoid robot bearing a near-identical resemblance to a human being arouses a sense of unease or revulsion in the person viewing it. Now, throughout the comments, the sentiment is virtually the same, right? Like people laughing, gawking, concerned, some are angry, many are confused, because in the absolute best case scenario for some of these people, their faces have been altered so drastically that they no longer resemble themselves anymore at all. And like perhaps that was the point. And in the worst case scenarios, we have what appears to be the incredibly violent aftermath of an incredibly unconvincing facelift, with this one in particular being so controversial that the comments have been turned completely off. Okay, before I continue, I want to make it like really clear that I have absolutely no interest in gawking at these people or like, you know, cracking the jokes that people have been saying about how they look. These are, you know, we got to remember these are real people who seemingly signed off on having the before and after videos of their procedures shown to the entire world. I mean, presumably, clearly this was something that these people were either proud of or were at least in such a bad place mentally or emotionally that they were willing to completely alter themselves and then okay with showing the world the difference the surgery made for them. Even though strangely, like many of the surgeries shown aren't even completely healed yet. So it's even kind of adds to these layers of like seeing the before and afters, and the afters not even like, we're not really in the after zone, you know what I mean? We're just like kind of at intermission. We're at halftime right now, bitch. And it's just, the surgeons are looking a little sus. Just hope that people, when they see the videos of these individuals, that they just kind of refrain from mocking or judging these people in the comments. But full and total okay with raising your eyebrows as high as you possibly can, depending on if you've had Botox, at the potential cesspool candidates here, which is the surgeon or surgeons involved, not the these patients whose lives are forever changed for better or for worse. And you know, speaking of life and things that raise your eyebrows, hopefully out of joy, how's your relationship doing? Do you need to check up on that? You know what I'm talking about, and I know just the thing to help. So a big thank you to today's sponsor, the Paired app, and then we will dive right into these unhinged surgeons. I love the Paired app. This is such a genius invention to me. Paired is a relationship care app that you can use to deepen your connection and relationship with your partner with super fun daily couples questions, relationship games, quizzes, and so much more. So like, you know the super cute relationship games where a couple is asked a question and they see if their answers match? It's like that, only so much more entertaining and insightful. The Paired app gives prompts that create meaningful conversations about things that you likely wouldn't have thought to discuss in a truly unique way. And what I love is that it's always a surprise. Like, you can't see each other's answers until you both complete the quizzes or games, which gives me something to look forward to and get all giddy in anticipation. And I learned so much, not just about my relationship, but about myself as well. Think of the Paired app as the ultimate relationship companion. The interactive games really help improve communication and intimacy. And there's this wonderful timeline tracker where you can track special dates and memories through your relationship and never forget the moments that make you smile. And it works with every kind of relationship, whether you've just met or you've been together for years. It covers everyone because healthy communication will always be the way to go. And with Valentine's Day upon us, rather than freak out trying to find some like overpriced random last minute gift, why not give the gift of a subscription to Paired for yourself and your partner? You can connect with each other all year long and really show how important your relationship is to each other. So treat yourself to a healthier, happier, more engaging relationship. It is so much fun, I promise. Click my link below to get a 7-day free trial and 25% off Paired Premium so you can deepen your connection with your partner, because you deserve it, honey. Okay, so did you know that there's a difference between the terms cosmetic surgery and plastic surgery? I will be using the terms interchangeably today, but let me quickly explain. As Garza Plastic Surgery puts it, cosmetic surgeons have also gone to medical school and completed continuing education, but have not received the training required to become a plastic surgeon. Cosmetic surgery procedures are considered purely elective and do not involve reconstructing the body. They are performed to enhance or reshape parts of the body that are already functioning properly. Examples of cosmetic surgery could, include a chest lift or a chest augmentation, liposuction, facelifts, and in many cases, a nose job. So the reason I'll be using both interchangeably is simple. It's not entirely clear if the doctor or doctors I'll be speaking about are doing one or both. Many of these terms are cosmetic, but some stretch beyond that. So I'll be referring to these procedures as cosmetic surgery throughout, unless I know for sure there's a difference. Kay, thanks. Okay, so who is the surgeon or surgeons that have done all of this? Well, it appears that these TikToks are the work of a mysterious cosmetic surgeon whose screen name is Jzhao16, aka Dr. Kim. Now, shocking, not much is known about Dr. Kim, which makes the TikTok much more alluring to amateur investigators on the platform. So Dr. Kim has nearly 200,000 followers, but no bio. In fact, his bio literally says, and I quote, "No bio yet," end quote. Now, as of February 6, 2024, his photo is of a masked surgeon, though back in 2023, his profile picture looked more like this. Now, as you can see, the only means of contacting Dr. Kim on there was a WhatsApp number that has now been removed from the bio. But if you find that WhatsApp, you'll find a profile with a website that you can go to for more info that says www.gjhose.com. GJ Hose. Listen, I may have been a GJ Ho myself a few times here and there. Sorry, I can't resist. Sorry, let's just go there, okay? And the website doesn't exist. Terrific! Okay, so what if we go to the Internet Archive? Yeah, the website never existed. Okay, so that's it for the cesspool. I guess that's it for the deep dive. Thanks for watching. Stay sweaty, stay petty. I ain't fixing that typo. Swoop!
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Okay, but seriously, there are a number of questions that I have because of these videos, and I want answers to each of them. The first obvious one is, who is Dr. Kim and why are these videos so disturbing? But then I start thinking, where are the ethical lines when it comes to how drastic the surgery can be per a patient's request? How many people regret undergoing these types of procedures? What are the risks behind these procedures? What does this work say about society's relationship with aging? Well, friends and fellow Suspirians, I'm pleased to tell you that I found the answers to most of these questions. In terms of figuring out who Dr. Kim is without, doxing him, knowyourmeme.com reverse image searched Kim's original profile photo and found a lead. But since it's not confirmed, I'm going to skip over that to avoid potentially sending, harassment anybody's way. So in theory, that means we hit a dead end. However, what if I told you that if we just dip another toe into the cesspool, just give ourselves another inch, just the tip an inch, okay? We find a lot more to work with. So when we go to Dr. Kim's post, we often see a few hashtags, which I am flashing on screen right now. So the one on the left, is this your left? That's your right. The one on the left translates to hashtag facelift, and the one on the right translates to hashtag anti-aging. You'll also find English hashtags like facelift, facelifting, and so on. Now, when exploring these hashtags, we can see that Dr. Kim isn't the only one doing these videos. We can also find one like this one from Norperez8, aka Dr. Sam, and also this one from Lian Gaozex, I can't even begin to pronounce that, number 2.
姐来自哪里呀？山青。今年多大？61。做的额头加中下面部大拉皮啊，今天第几天？
Now, one of the things that you'll notice about each of these profiles is that the presentation is nearly identical to Dr. Kim's videos. Before and after shots with a cute little pop song playing, and profile photos similar to Dr. Kim's original photo, or even pictures similar to his current one. And in each profile, you may even notice a link to a WhatsApp, and each WhatsApp also links to the same non-existent website. Yeah. Now, this is something that was also noticed by YouTuber Tov, whose investigation into the Dr. Kim rabbit hole found him actually speaking directly with one of these surgeons.
Hello, can I reach Dr. Kim? Hi, what can I do for you? I'd like more information about the facelifts. Is there a website I can visit? Because gjhose.com does not work. A new website is constructing. In order to know you more and make plan for you, please send me your photos.
Okay, problem solved on why the website doesn't work, though it does seem interesting to me that the TikTok accounts have been active for over a year, and this website issue hasn't been worked out. It seems kind of sketchy to me. Okay, it's kind of sus. Might be in the cesspool. We'll just toss the website in there as well. Enjoy the swim. I'll send you a flotation device. Okay, sorry. But as you'll see from Tov's investigation, it kind of is, right? Because apparently messaging someone on WhatsApp is all it really takes to get a consultation with these doctors. Now, this next clip is a bit longer, but pretty illuminating.
And then they send like a diagram of how they want me to send the photos for my surgery. And that's when I freaked out because my WhatsApp just says my actual name and it has a profile picture of me. I can't send a picture of me because they're gonna know, first of all, I'm young and I probably won't need anything. I went out of my way to go to Google and look up old Asian lady just to, kind of play the part. So I made up a lie. Oh, okay, the person that wants this is not me, but rather my wife. We'd like to know the prices. My goal was to get the prices and location and name of the person that does these surgeries. That's what I wanted. I suspect Dr. Kim is not real. But anyway, I send a picture. I say, this is her. Sir, I saw the photos you sent and your wife's facial proportions are great. The distance from the forehead to the brow is similar to the distance from the brow to the tip of the nose, and the distance from the nose tip to the chin. This gives her face a very three-dimensional appearance. The primary issues your wife is currently facing are due to aging, resulting in sagging of the face, leading to nasolabial folds, marionette lines, and neck wrinkles. These factors contribute to a tired appearance. According to your wife's facial condition, I would suggest to consider a mini facelift. The mini facelift can effectively improve tear-throughs, nasolabial folds, necklines, and corner of the mouth bags, making your wife appear 5 to 8 years younger. The results of the surgery are expected to last for at least 10 years, which is already insane. It seemed like they buttered her up at the beginning. Well, she looks great, but she could improve these things.
Now, Tov doesn't go any further with his investigation past these video messages, at least in his video and at least at this point in ours. So I can't say for sure what exactly the group's vetting process looks like. But what I can say is it that easy? Really? 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 Okay, I'm not a medical professional, but this seems less like a consultation and more like somebody at H&M upselling, like, you know, those socks to go with those hard-ass plastic boots that never fit. If you caught that title, I'd like to elaborate more specifically. Where are the ethical lines when it comes to how drastic the surgery can be per a patient's request? So this section can mostly be answered by looking at an editorial by Michael T. Goupil and Ellie M. Fernaney for the American Journal of Cosmetic Surgery, who wanted to explore the simple question of, is cosmetic surgery ethical? Quote, an age-old ethical maxim attributed to Hippocrates is first do no harm. If this ethical principle is followed, then the question is easily answered, and cosmetic surgery or any surgical specialty would be unethical. Surgery, by its very nature, usually requires harming the patient through the use of an incision. So obviously one can't look to Hippocrates to answer this question. So the question of whether cosmetic surgery is ethical then becomes a nuanced one, less about if it's ethical and more about how closely cosmetic surgery follows the basic tenets of modern healthcare. As Goupil and Fernaney puts it, 4 basic principles have been accepted for the application of healthcare ethics. These principles are autonomy, justice, beneficence, and non-maleficence. Man, there are a lot of big words in those quotes from those scientific medical journal-y people. Way to go, guys. I stumbled through all of that. My fault, not yours. They define autonomy as being in control of your own destiny, essentially. Now, if we assume that these surgeries are consensual, then I don't know why my voice went up so consensual. But let's go with it. Then it's so far so good, right? So next up is justice, which is a concept involving fairness, equality, and equitable treatment. So since cosmetic surgery is expensive and therefore not widely available, the researchers say that it can be argued that this does not meet the ethical guidelines. But on the other hand, quote, one can argue that since patients are responsible for the cost of their own care, then cosmetic surgery does not affect the overall availability of healthcare resources. When using this argument, cosmetic surgery passes this ethical test. Next is the beneficence, that word, the quality or state of doing or producing good. So basically, can cosmetic surgery improve somebody's mental health? If so, then it's ethical. Finally, we have the non-maleficence, which is to inflict the least harm possible. Quote, in order to address this ethical principle, the contemplated cosmetic procedure needs to undergo a risk-benefit analysis. A determination needs to be made whether a patient's expectations are reasonable and realistic. If the expectations outweigh the potential complications, the ethical test has been met. So unrealistic expectations of patients would have ethical problems. But where the ethics come into question with Dr. Kim's work lies in the researchers' hidden 5th criteria: veracity, aka how honest is Dr. Kim about what is possible. This is where things get like extra dicey, because as we can see in Tuv's investigation into Dr. Kim, the services prompted by these surgeons are plentiful. In fact, they're so plentiful that there is no chance any one surgeon is good at all of them. Catch what I'm saying here?
He often exchanges plastic surgery techniques with famous domestic and international plastic surgery masters. What do they mean by exchanges? Again, this is broken English, but could this mean he's not qualified for some procedures he's doing? Well guys, that same sentence can be found in his About section, and guess what's under it? Facial surgery, laser surgery, breast augmentation, brow lift, eyelid defect repair, nose surgery, chin surgery, ear surgery, lip surgery, hair transplant. Either this man is the best surgeon of our timeline, or you're gonna end up with a botched surgery if you go to him. And I think we know which answer is the correct one.
Now, to be fair, Tuv isn't listing information here from Dr. Kim's website, but merely from one of his alleged associates, or possibly even his boss. However, these are a lot of procedures to be promised by just one doctor. And as Garza Plastic Surgery puts it, unfortunately, many doctors market themselves as plastic surgeons and do procedures beyond the scope of their training and vice versa. A cosmetic surgeon might not be qualified to perform some surgical procedures, and while they legally can, not all plastic surgeons specialize in cosmetic surgery. Isn't that just so comforting? kidding! Furthermore, any physician can call themselves a cosmetic surgeon, even like your primary care physician or gynecologist, which I wouldn't recommend your gynecologist give you a facelift, okay? I'm good. There are so many jokes there that I want to say, and I'm just gonna leave it alone. In other words, just because a surgeon or physician can doesn't mean they should, which is also advice that I should apply to my dating life. This means that when we take things full circle back to Dr. Kim, a man who doesn't even have a bio on TikTok, we're operating on incredibly shaky ground and murky cesspool waters. So now we gotta ask, what procedures is he eligible to actually do? And even if he's eligible to do all of these things, my next question is, now, this honestly might be one of the most important questions to ask about the work that Dr. Kim and associates do that unfortunately we do not have a direct answer for. By design, these before and after videos don't have names or contact information, like, thankfully. Though I will say that if you were a former patient of Dr. Kim's, if any of you out there watching have had a facelift or any procedure done by this doctor, I would love to speak to you about this. You can remain anonymous if you want to, but I would love to understand more about this. Until then, what we can do is talk about that bitch of an R word, regret. Specifically, how many people regret the decision to get cosmetic or plastic surgery in the first place? Well, you might actually be surprised to find that there is not an easy way to answer this question. For instance, a study done by the American Society of Plastic Surgeons back in 2021 found that just 4% of patients regretted their procedure, and 98% of all patients were satisfied with their results, which sounds great, right? That would imply that buyer's remorse is a very rare phenomenon for people who get cosmetic surgery, right? Except one, that's research by a plastic surgeon association. I mean, that would be like asking why don't women have any talents beyond the kitchen to Andrew Tate, okay? It's like, the results are gonna be biased, okay? He's gonna be a dick and you're gonna get a stupid answer. So I don't know if that's what's going on here, but it kind of feels like it might be. And two, a 2023 study on decision regret in plastic surgery cited a UK research poll that found, quote, 60% of quizzed participants regretted, let me say that again, regretted having aesthetic surgery, and unmet expectations were the most common reason, end quote. There is a huge disparity between 4% and 60%. That is a 56% difference, because I could do that kind of basic math. That's also literally the exact difference in percentage between how many votes Barack Obama got in 2012 versus Roseanne Barr. yeah. Who, yes, if you didn't know, ran for president and got her ass handed to her, because why the is Roseanne Barr running for president? Or like, okay, a little more relatable example. Let's say that you're swiping on a dating app and one person is like 80% dateable and the other person is only 24% dateable. That means there's a 56% difference between someone being decent or being a dick. Do the math, okay? You're gonna go with the 80%. Now, this is further backed up by research from the UK-based medical accident group, who found that, quote, 65% of people they polled regretted their surgery, and 83% of people who had plastic surgery wouldn't consider having any form of cosmetic procedure again. Wow, y'all, when you think about these statistics, because this is not anyone ever talks about, right? I feel like all I see on social media is like, hey, woman, you're not pretty. You should get a bunch of done. Are you tired of the way you look because you're a human and society tells you that's not good enough? Go ahead and get something done. Let me get some new ones. Let me get a lift and a tuck and a nip. Let's go. Sorry, I couldn't resist. And again, there's no shame. If you want to have something done, get something done. Just please research it. That's all I gotta say on that. Like, research things like the regret aspect and how common is it with whatever particular surgery, or filler or whatever procedure you might be looking to do. But like, it really paints a different picture, doesn't it? Of like all of these types of alterations to the face or to the body when you hear a much larger majority of people have regrets about it. But let's get back to these statistics. So that last point actually ties into a point that was raised a lot post C-19 lockdown, in which many sources claim we're currently living in, wait for it, the era of plastic surgery regret. The Aesthetic Plastic Surgery Society, because that's a thing, reported that in 2021, 71,000 women had their implants removed and not replaced, which was a 47% increase over the previous year. Now, that's simply focusing on, the girls, but anecdotally, the article speaks to a number of experts who cite patients that are unhappy, even with the facial fillers and lifts due to expectations not matching reality. And I do also feel like a lot of science is changing and people are understanding a little bit more about these procedures than maybe they didn't know before. Now, to me, this says that getting cosmetic surgery in the first place is a bit of a crapshoot, right? Like these percentages don't seem good for like, are you gonna be happy with the results? Now, we may be unhappy with our appearances enough to get surgery, but the results might not be what we expect. And that's, a risk that we have to be willing to take in order to go through with, life-altering, literally, cosmetic surgery. Like a surgeon, ooh, cut for the very first time.
Like a surgeon, hey, cutting for the very first time.
Sorry, y'all, I'm in a mood today. So, what do other cosmetic surgeons think about all this? As you might expect, other cosmetic and plastic surgeons have weighed in with their own thoughts on this. So first up, we have a board-certified plastic surgeon named Richard J. Brown, who is very quick to note that the exact sort of incision and even their placements that Dr. Kim and his associates are using are not appropriate, if you could imagine.
So no shade to Dr. Kim or these patients. If they want to do facelifts and forehead lifts, that's great, but these pretracheal front hairline incisions can be extremely visible and not look great long term. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is this too much for a 46-year-old? I mean, I would never do this, but you know who would?
What Brown is saying is that the incisions being performed here are more than likely going to leave a scar or maybe rejected by the body outright. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, okay, what the hell happens if a person's face rejects their facelift? Like, holy like I've never even thought that was something that could happen with a facelift. Okay, y'all, just like for a second here, just get ready for like a little bit of TMI, but like I, got a few body piercings. Like I got my girls pierced once upon a time, and like 3 years later, my body just suddenly said, nope. Get them hoes out. Like they just rejected them bitches like The Bachelor. It was so fucking weird. That's all I can say. It was so weird. Now, like everything healed fine, thankfully. Like you would never even know if you were looking at them, but also why you look it. I'm just kidding. But like you would literally never know that I once had steel hanging from them. But like the face, can the face just reject a new stretched out facelift? Because that sounds terrifying if that's possible. Anyways, okay, sidebar over. Now, in regards to Dr. Kim being called out for the potential big scarring on the face, like this, in my opinion, would more than likely defeat the purpose of the surgery altogether, wouldn't it? And I would kind of imagine, even though I'm obviously not a doctor, but it might possibly even require more surgery in the long haul just to kind of cover up the new scars that were created. According to Niti Kunger at the National Library of Medicine, this checks out with the potential complications that can arise from cosmetic surgery, even in the most competent of hands. Risks include, quote, hematoma and bruises, seroma formation, nerve damage causing sensory or motor loss, infection, scarring, blood loss, and complications of anesthesia can occur in any surgery. More serious complications such as deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolism can cause death. Cosmetic surgery is not something that most people haphazardly commit to, unless you're Ollie London, but we still have an Ollie London doc coming up. I don't know when I'm going to put it out, but it's there and it exists. But like in regards to this stuff, like it's not even something that people usually can haphazardly commit to. So often the risks are outweighed by the potential reward, but there are risks, and in the hands of potentially incompetent physicians, those risks become much likelier. Niti Kangar continues by saying that proper vetting of candidates also matters. Quote, "It is essential to minimize risks by careful patient selection by taking a detailed history and examination. Chronic smokers, immunocompromised patients, and patients with cardiovascular and pulmonary disease are at a particular risk." Now, let's think back to Tubbs' investigation. Did it seem like Tubbs' fake wife was being vetted properly? Did they ask him if his wife was a smoker, immunocompromised, or if she had a medical history? Now, to be fair, the messaging was cut off relatively early, but to push all of that on Tubbs without even knowing whether Tubbs' fake wife could get a real surgery for her fake face seems awfully irresponsible to me. And speaking of irresponsible, TikTok plastic surgeon Anthony Hyun straight up called this procedure extreme and questioned whether these were actually real surgeries being done.
Plastic surgery coming out of Asia is so extreme that it actually makes me sad. I mean, how does somebody go from this to this? This is a ton of work that was done. I mean, she's a beautiful woman before and after, but why? And this whole thing is strange because are these truly the hands of a 69-year-old woman? And here's another look at them. This is just strange. So what do you think is going on in this video? Are there filters? Is this not the same person? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Dude, I'm telling you, I am telling you, if it comes out that this is all fake and like AI generated, or they put SFX scar wax on like a younger person to make it look like they're post-op, oh my gosh, dude, I will lose my I can't take it anymore, and all this AI I don't even know what to trust anymore, and it's only gonna get worse. Sorry, I'm not gonna go on the AI tangent, but this is why society can't have nice things. I don't trust nobody. Back to it. This brings me to a question I can't really back up with as much research, so much as, my own intuitions. What does the work of Dr. Kim have to say about a societal obsession with aging? As you can see on Dr. Kim's own page, the obsession transcends culture. Even though many cultures around the world have a reverence and respect for the elderly, except for the United States of America, it is a pretty universal feeling for people to be afraid of aging for a number of reasons. And we could see this, about the drive of maturity among people younger and younger. Like I just covered the Sephora kids in the last video on this channel, which is probably one of the more dramatic examples I can think of, where 10-year-old kids have become obsessed with anti-aging beauty products that they obviously don't need. I mean, for sake, at least wait until you're 14 when the really deep wrinkles set in. My gosh, okay, the crow's feet and the lines, you're gonna need so much Botox. You're 14, what are you doing? How dare you? I'm just kidding, obviously. The pimple popped audacity here. But there's something quite sinister about the young using anti-aging products at an age when they shouldn't even be concerned with aging. Don't worry, when you're 20, it all goes downhill. Again, I'm kidding, but it's aging just wild to me. But also, seriously, I just need a moment because I think about this a lot when I see things trending. People call it, there was this one time people were calling Nicki Minaj out for her age. And I'm just like, why the hell are people so damn rude about people doing the natural thing of getting older? Do you not want to age? Do you know what it means if you don't age? Dead. It means you're dead, Betty Sue. Do you want to die? I just wish kids understood that if you on adults and people getting older, all you're really doing is perpetuating the ageism that's gonna come around and bite you in the ass when you have the audacity to turn 30. And then you'll be crying about why everyone is shaming you for being a geriatric 30-year-old when you could have stopped the bullshit trend of age bullying when you were younger. But I get it. Logic is boring. Anyways, don't you kind of hope you're going to be that age one day? Because again, the alternative is you die. Okay, rant over. But this is also nothing new. For example, columnist Rees Martin wrote for Michigan Daily that the battle of ageism has been a problem in America since at least the 1960s. Quote, a binary was created in the 1960s that pinned old and young against one another. Negative messages about older generations, specifically the women in those generations, because God forbid we do anything without misogyny, were cemented into American culture through television and other public platforms. Disney often portrayed elderly female characters as crazy grandmothers, hideous witches, and evil mothers. I'm reminded of Snow White's stepmother, the evil queen, who disguised herself as an old woman in order to trick the fair princess into eating a poison apple, all because she was jealous of the princess's beauty. Characters like Disney's evil queen were juxtaposed with young female characters, often princesses, who represented beauty, kindness, happiness, and desirability. By reinforcing this binary in popular culture, the media capitalizes on the association that old women are bad and young women are good. Great. It's all Disney's fault. Way to go, mouse boy. Which leads me to one more concept you probably weren't expecting to find in this video, which is my most Neil deGrasse Tyson galaxy brain take on the concept of cosmetic surgery in the aid for a youthfulness. This is all a product of Disneyfication, which isn't even a term that I made up. It's a literal sociological concept that describes, quote, the commercial transformation of things or environments into something simplified, controlled, and safe, reminiscent of the Walt Disney brand, such as its media parks, etc. What Professor Swoop is proposing with these extreme facelifts and cosmetic procedures is that the obsession with youth requires a third tenet to be added to that list, because we are dealing with the Disneyfication of human beings. So we start with simplified. We eliminate the wrinkles, sand off the edges, and create a younger, in theory, face. And then controlled by hiring a plastic surgeon. The way we look is literally, or at least in theory, in our control. And we've got safe. Debatable, but if we like how we look and eliminate what we don't like, we make it easier, in theory, to blend into society, aka to be safe in society and not shamed for simply existing by thousands of 10-year-olds on TikTok. And yes, I over-enunciated all of those T's and K's on purpose.
Lately, Sephora employees have been complaining on TikTok that every time they work a shift, the majority of customers are children under the age of 13 that have no manners.
The Disneyfication of our own bodies is conforming to an idea of youthful normalcy that societally many of us want to be happy. Like, people want to fit in so as not to draw attention to themselves, or if they want attention, they want it on their own terms and to like look a very specific way. By Disneyfying ourselves, we become exactly what we need to be to become happy. Because Disney, your mouse boy, is just happy all the time. That's not what Mickey sounds like, but okay. But there's also a huge problem with this, obviously. Disneyland, Disney World, the products of the Walt Disney Company are all a fantasy, an escape from reality. They are not meant to be, and never were meant to be, a replacement for reality the way I think it's become. So what I'm proposing here is that this level of extreme Disneyfication of our own bodies is not only potentially bad for our physical health, they're bad for our state of mental well-being. Like, escapism can be healthy, distraction from hard times can be healthy. In fact, even cosmetic surgery can be healthy, as shown in the statistics earlier. But where exactly do we draw the line on how much is an assistance to our sense of self and how much is a replacement of who we are fundamentally? I guess we have to answer that for ourselves. Now, since Tov released his initial video, he's received a number of troubling tips from fans of his who were somewhat familiar with the situation in China with Dr. Kim. And what they found is that Dr. Kim might be a real person, but he might not be the person behind the account. And the person who is behind the account, allegedly, could be an actual bona fide criminal. Are we surprised?
So I got a tip from a viewer regarding my I investigated TikTok scariest surgeons video, and this is what they said. Hey man, I saw your video about the plastic surgeon. I got more of a lead for you. The situation is worse than you think. First of all, I am native Chinese, so I understand the captions and the clips you found about Dr. Li Feng. I googled it up in Chinese, and it led me to his Chinese website, Li Feng Facelifting, and it's misleading. They named their business in a way that sounds like they're a plastic surgery department within a legit hospital. But the truth is that they're not affiliated with anything. This is a report of them being caught injecting people with expired medicine. This is a website that shows the owner of their company is under legal trouble. My guess is they're a group of unlicensed doctors who got in big legal trouble for their practice in China, probably deep in debt and looking for some quick cash to pay for it. They got blacklisted in China, so they reached out to foreigners.
So if true, that would be a massive doozy woozy and a huge update to the case. Now, what Tubbs viewer is predicting has not been proven, so I want to be clear that the idea that Li Feng is collecting blacklisted, disgraced, or even unlicensed doctors is alleged. However, what Tubb was able to prove is still pretty freaking shocking. Like, for instance, he found Li Feng's official website with the address, licensed business name, and phone number, and was able to dig up a lot of info on alleged crimes committed by his business, including the profession of expired medicines, which led him to conclude that...
Is Dr. Li Feng affiliated with a real plastic surgery department? According to CIO Pharma, the client held a valid medical institution practice license. So, allegedly no, because we don't know about the quote-unquote real department. Number 2, has Dr. Li Feng's team been caught injecting people with expired medicine? No. But they have been caught being in possession of expired medicine. Maybe they have injected people with it. We don't know that. 3, are they currently under legal investigation? That is one I cannot answer. I mean, really, we don't know if the cops over in China are investigating them now.
So I'll have Tubbs' video linked below so that you can see more of what he found. But with these particular findings, it seems as if the Dr. Kim rabbit hole goes a whole lot deeper than anybody might have expected. For every answer we come across, 100 new questions come up. I mean, we discover that this is a real doctor named Dr. Kim, and then we discover that it might not be Dr. Kim. So who is posting the videos? Like, the surgeries seem sketch, okay? All of these surgeries, we just tossing them in the cesspool. I don't know what's going on. So how have they been able to get away with this? Who really is Li Feng? Is this a big grift? What the hell? What? Listen, we are all beautiful exactly as we are. And like everybody watching now, or probably most people, there are things that I don't like about myself. Now, I haven't personally gotten anything done. I haven't even done fillers or Botox or anything, although I could really use Botox for the migraines, but I haven't done anything yet. Capital T on that. There are things that I've considered getting work done on, and if I choose to do so, then, that's my choice. Just as if any of you choose to do something, that is your choice, and that should be respected. But if I were to just suddenly pop up on here someday and look absolutely nothing like me and more like, I don't know, like a 14-year-old version of me is drawn by a bad AI app, I could tell you all day how happy I am, but I'd know, just the same as you'd know, it would most likely be a complete elimination or a very large elimination of self in service of an idea that I have of myself that came based on societal pressures and what I consume and who I see and what I'm told I should do in order to be accepted as more beautiful, right? And that's a little, it's a lot. But based on all of the research available to me, I find the extreme level of work Dr. Kim and other surgeons like him do to be incredibly excessive. Look only again at somebody like Ollie London, a white man and a current right-wing transphobic grifter who once spent upwards of 6 figures to look like a Korean K-pop star through plastic surgery to see what buyer's remorse looks like. I'm certain that there are people out there who have had that level of work done that like the work done, but the numbers provided earlier do not support that is the norm, and I wonder if we maybe need to find a way to reconsider whether that level of work should even be allowed at all. I don't know. Y'all tell me, okay? Do you think that there should be a limit in these types of procedures, like kind of a line drawn on what medical doctors can do when it comes to the extremeness of a cosmetic transformation? Or is it none of my damn business? Is it none of anyone's business? And should it just be left up to the patient and their willingness to assume the risk? So like, leave me your thoughts in the comments. I'm so curious what you think about this. And for now, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna keep these surgeons in the cesspool where I am willing to bet they belong. Okay, everyone, time to grab a towel and dry off. That's what I got. I have a brand new full deep dive Swoop documentary out on my main channel, Swoop. It is linked below. It is a full deep dive on the aftermath of Gypsy Rose Blanchard's release. I wanted to approach this topic in a way that I have not seen done. We cover, you know, like a bit of a recap of things, but then I really wanted to dig into some things like text messages and things like private videos no one's talking about of Gypsy Rose that she sent to Nick saying that she would kill any girl who wanted to date him. And we get into kind of the psychology of Nick and his diagnoses. Should those have played a bigger factor in his sentencing? Should they not? I just really wanted to dig into the very nuanced layers that I feel like so many people just kind of don't look at all, or just gloss over, or didn't even know existed. There's a lot of evidence out there that I think kind of reshapes some of the things about this whole story, as sad as the whole thing is. So if you want to check that out, it is linked below, and it'll also be pinned in the top comment, and go ahead and subscribe to my main channel over there. Also follow me on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok, because I'm gonna start doing some things on TikTok. But Instagram and Twitter, that's where I post most often, and also announce opportunities to have your thoughts featured in my docs on both channels. You can also grab your official Petty University Valid collection with the new ribcage design and the Valid Social Club design, linked in the description and pinned comment as always. Thanks for coming along with me doing the backstroke in the cesspool. Make sure to subscribe to this new channel. Also, huge thank you to our sponsor for supporting this channel, and of course to all of you for being here and getting us that new plaque, which y'all are wild for that. Be sure to click my link below to get a 7-day free trial and 25% off paired premium, so you can maintain and deepen your connection with your partner and treat yourself to the healthy relationship that you deserve, honey. All right, Suspirians, let's try our best to have a good day out there. Stay weird, and I will see you next time in the cesspool. Swoop!